Power is not built through addition. It's built through subtraction. The world will tell you to network, to expand, to be social, to be likable. But Machiavelli would give you a different truth. You are not judged by who you include. You are judged by who you tolerate. A kingdom doesn't fall because it lacked allies. It falls because it let in worthless ones, cowards, flatterers, gossips, betrayers. And yet most people do exactly that. They collect people like trophies. They keep friends out of fear. They avoid confrontation in the name of peace. But in the process, they drown their power in dead weight. This is your warning. Not everyone around you deserves to be there. And the faster you can identify and remove the unworthy, the faster your influence will rise. Machiavelli didn't tolerate the weak, the vague, or the double-faced. He cut them early. He watched in silence. And then when the signs were clear, he removed them like a weed from the root. That's what you're going to learn to do, starting now. The first red flag is disguised as support. They agree with everything. They mirror your words. They nod when they should challenge. They're always with you, but you feel nothing behind their eyes. Why? Because their agreement is not loyalty, it's survival. Machiavelli warned about this often. He who flatters with no spine will betray with no warning. These people are strategic cowards. They agree not because they believe, but because they want access. Access to your power, your decisions, your outcomes, but never your struggle. When things go wrong, they're the first to distance themselves, claim they never really agreed, and say, "I was just supporting you." That's not support, that's camouflage. Cut them early. Keep only those who dare to tell you no, while still standing by your side. Machiavelli believed that emotional inconsistency was a liability. If someone's loyalty shifts with the mood of the room, they are a threat. If they're motivated today and destroyed tomorrow, they are dead weight. If their pain becomes your burden, you are no longer leading, you are babysitting. These are the people who drain you silently. They don't attack, they just collapse. They need your validation, your attention, your energy. Every time something minor disrupts their fragile ego, their chaos becomes your cage. And here's the brutal truth. You don't build power with people who need healing. You build it with people who have already healed themselves. Let therapists deal with the broken. Let priests deal with the guilt-ridden. You build with people who can stand without leaning. Watch for the ones who talk too much, not out of enthusiasm, but as a form of cover. They over-explain everything they do, why they were late, why they failed, why it's not their fault, why they didn't mean it, why you shouldn't judge them. Here's what Machiavelli understood. The man who explains too much has already calculated your judgment. He is preempting you. He is trying to confuse your instincts. He is attempting to drown your clarity in noise. Why? Because his actions can't speak for themselves. Because if you judged him on outcomes alone, he'd be exposed. Real players don't explain. They act, they win or lose, and let the silence confirm their truth. Talk is a distraction, and the ones who never stop talking are often hiding worthlessness behind charisma. These are the people who change their principles depending on who's watching, what they want, and who they're dealing with. They're chameleons. They'll pretend to be just like you. They'll quote your words, mirror your ethics, adapt to your philosophy for as long as it benefits them. But give it time, and they'll say the opposite to someone else. This is not strategy. This is rot. Machiavelli used deception with purpose, not with everyone. He didn't respect the double-tongued servant or the people-pleasing rat, because these people carry no center. They follow whoever is strongest at the moment, and when you fall, they will follow someone else without blinking. Remove them, not for what they've done, but for what they're capable of doing the moment you're no longer useful. Beware of the ones who try to get too close too soon. They trauma dump on you in week one. They confess secrets you didn't ask for. They want to connect deeply before they've earned your trust. This is not vulnerability, it's manipulation. They're forcing emotional intimacy, so you feel guilty when you distance yourself later. This is a trap, because once they feel close to you, they will start asking for exceptions. I thought we were friends. I told you everything. How can you ignore me after what I shared? They weaponize closeness, and if you're not cold enough to cut them, they'll stay wrapped around your power, draining you through emotional blackmail, disguised as connection. The one who talks to you about others will eventually talk about you. This is non-negotiable. Machiavelli placed great emphasis on controlling the narrative, and the gossiper is a threat to that control. Even if they seem entertaining, even if they spill the tea, even if it seems harmless, understand this: every person who brings gossip also brings doubt into your circle. They are not connectors, they are destabilizers. Your name is currency, and if someone spends it carelessly, you lose value in rooms you've never entered. Cut the gossiper early. No explanation, no negotiation, just distance. These are the ones who can't be happy for your wins, but are never honest about it. They joke, they make backhanded compliments, they smile when you lose, they bring up their own accomplishments right after hearing yours. They are not obvious haters, they are silent rivals, pretending to be supporters. These are the most dangerous, because they will never directly challenge you. They will just slowly sabotage your mindset, your confidence, your focus. Machiavelli would call these snakes in the garden, not aggressive enough to be feared, not loyal enough to be trusted. And the worst part? They'll always deny it, because they don't hate you, they want to be you. Cutting these people from your circle isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Because every day you tolerate the worthless, you send a signal to the worthy that excellence doesn't matter, that mediocrity is welcome. And the truth is, power is allergic to dead weight. Remove them early, remove them cleanly, remove them without guilt. Because the moment you do, your signal becomes clear, your aura becomes sharp, and your circle becomes the foundation of your rise, not the anchor holding you down. Once you've identified the worthless, you face a far greater challenge: how to remove them without making them your enemy. Most people make the mistake of announcing their boundaries. They want to be fair. They want to explain why they're cutting ties. They give a monologue. They write a message. They hope the other person will understand, agree, maybe even apologize. But Machiavelli would laugh at this. Do not wound a man unless you can kill him. In modern terms, don't cut someone off halfway. Don't leave an open door. Don't try to be liked. Cut clean, cut quiet, cut smart. And above all, do it in a way that increases your power, not just your peace. This is where the art of social pruning begins. Most people believe removing someone means unfollowing, blocking, ghosting, but that's surface level, a child's version of control. The real Machiavellian way is to remove access to influence, not attention. Let them watch you. Let them see you win. Let them see their irrelevance grow every time you succeed without them. Don't argue. Don't clarify. Don't explain. Just become unreachable. Not physically, psychologically. When they speak, don't respond. When they joke, don't laugh. When they vent, don't engage. You become water to their fire, not fuel. And without reaction, they shrivel. They don't leave because you pushed. They leave because they're no longer significant. This is silent dominance. Don't just cut off someone in a way that draws attention. Instead, create distance that makes interacting with you feel exhausting. Make it hard to schedule with you. Make your replies slow, vague, and cold. Make your energy inconsistent, unpredictable. This doesn't provoke confrontation. It provokes disinterest on their part. Eventually, they stop trying and tell themselves a story like, "We just grew apart. They've been busy. We're on different paths." Let them believe it. Because the truth is, you engineered the drift, you made the bridge harder to walk, and by the time they look back, it's too late. You didn't burn the bridge, you dissolved it. Worthless people cling to you when they think your standards are low. So start raising your standards, not in direct conversation, but through your life. Start associating with stronger, sharper people. Post about deeper values, clearer goals. Be seen in better rooms. Suddenly the people who used to feel comfortable around you feel exposed. They sense they no longer belong. They realize, without you saying it, that they're outclassed. Machiavelli never had to scream who he was. He surrounded himself with symbols of seriousness. So do the same. Let your actions say, if you want to stay in my world, level up, and if they don't, they'll remove themselves out of shame, not conflict. That's the most elegant exit. The weakest words in your vocabulary should be, I'm sorry I changed. I hope you understand. It's nothing personal. Never say these again, because here's what you're really saying. I need your permission to evolve. Your feelings matter more than my growth. Please don't hate me for becoming powerful. No, growth is non-negotiable, and pruning is not cruelty. It's maintenance. You're not evil for removing the wrong people. You're responsible, because every high-value life is not just built on what it attracts, it's guarded by what it rejects. Some people won't go quietly. They'll guilt trip, they'll call you arrogant, distant, selfish. They'll provoke you into reacting because reaction equals relevance. Your job? Give them nothing. Let them scream into a void. Let them spin a story about you. Let them gossip, criticize, throw subtle jabs, say nothing, respond to nothing, rise above everything. Why? Because when you don't give them something to push against, they lose balance, and eventually they fall. People forget the one who yells, but they never forget the one who left silently, powerfully, permanently. Social pruning isn't just about removing weeds, it's about watering the worthy. Every time you cut someone who drags you down, make space for someone who pulls you up. Promote those who show loyalty. Praise those who show growth. Elevate those who stand firm in storms. This is how you send a signal to your circle. This isn't just a place to survive. This is a place to thrive or disappear. You don't need to announce it. People will feel it, and the worthless will either rise or vanish. This is not about being cold. It's about being clear. Here's the final touch of Machiavellian genius. When you cut someone off, don't erase them completely. Leave the door closed but visible. Why? Because people obsess over what they can see but can't touch. The locked door is more haunting than the missing wall. Let them see you rise. Let them see your success without a seat at the table. Let them wonder what it would have felt like to be on your side, now that they're not. This doesn't just create distance, it creates regret. And regret is the most powerful teacher you never have to speak to. You don't owe explanations. You owe yourself protection. And protecting your circle means pruning it relentlessly. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone can handle your evolution. And not everyone will clap when you level up. That's fine. Machiavelli would remind you, if you would build something strong, make sure every brick is tested. Cut early, cut smart, cut silent, and your circle will become your army, not your burden. You've identified the worthless. You've removed them with silence, distance, and superiority. But the game isn't over, because worthless people rarely stay gone. They linger. They circle back. They test your new boundaries subtly, manipulatively, or even through others. They cannot stand that you moved on without them. They cannot accept their exile. And they'll do whatever it takes to slip back in. So now the war becomes one of defense. And Machiavelli would remind you, a fortress is useless if the gates are weak. Let's build psychological walls, so high no guilt, flattery, or guilt tripping can break them. The most common comeback strategy of the worthless is the guilt tactic. They say things like, "I just miss how things used to be. You've changed. We've been through so much. I never thought you'd treat me this way." This is not affection. It's emotional blackmail. They are not appealing to your logic. They are targeting your conscience. But here's what Machiavelli knew. Your conscience is often your greatest vulnerability, and the people who know you best also know where to attack it. Your job? Let guilt die. Guilt is for those who owe a debt. You don't. You didn't betray them. You didn't abandon them. You simply enforced a standard they failed to meet. You don't owe them closure. You owe them nothing. Guilt is the key they'll use to open your door. So burn the lock entirely. When they can't reach you directly, they'll go indirect. Suddenly, your friends start saying, "They've really changed. They miss you. Maybe it's time to reconnect." This is not coincidence. It's calculated re-entry. Worthless people don't approach through the front door anymore. They slip in through the side entrance of your social web. So what do? Control the narrative. Make it clear without being dramatic that you've moved on for a reason. You don't have to gossip or attack them. Just calmly state, "I've outgrown that connection. I only move forward now." That phrase is powerful. It doesn't invite debate. It doesn't sound cruel, but it builds an invisible wall no one can argue with. If your mutuals respect you, they'll stop bringing them up. If they don't, they go on the watch list too. This is subtle and often effective. If you're not alert, a previously worthless person reappears, pretending to be reborn. They say, "I've worked on myself. I realized I messed up. I've gone to therapy. I'm not that person anymore." Sounds nice, right? But here's the test. Are they offering value or just seeking access? Because worthless people rarely evolve. They just rebrand. Real change isn't announced. It's revealed through actions, consistency, and new patterns. So if they try to showcase their new self, watch for time consistency. Have they maintained the new behavior over months? Or is this just a highlight reel? Motive clarity. Are they trying to prove something, or simply live better without dragging you in? Ego neutrality. Do they respect your distance, or are they still angling to win you back? Machiavelli believed in second chances only when they brought new power, not when they risked the same betrayals. Don't fall for upgraded packaging. Another comeback tactic, minimization. They pretend your decision to cut them off was too harsh, an overreaction, a misunderstanding, or just a small thing. This is a trap. They are trying to shrink your standards to fit their comfort zone. They're trying to rewrite the rules mid-game. But you're not the same person they remember. If someone downplays what broke your trust, what they're really saying is, "Your pain was not real. Your boundaries are inconvenient. Your growth threatens me." That's not someone who's sorry. That's someone who's offended by your power. Never debate your standards, because the moment you do, you open the door for erosion. Stand firm. Let them sit in their confusion. And if they think you're too cold, let them freeze outside. Remember when we had such a good time that one night nobody else ever got me like you did. This is the sweet poison. They're not appealing to your logic or future. They're fishing in your emotional archives, because they know if they can get you to feel, they don't need you to think. Machiavelli would see this for what it is, a subtle seduction designed to soften the edge of your clarity. But the past is a trap when it blinds you to the pattern, and worthless people will always try to pull you back to a time before you saw their true colors. Don't let your memory betray your progress. Nostalgia isn't loyalty. It's just a pretty mask for repetition. This is the rarest and most dangerous tactic, mimicry. They begin copying you. They talk like you. They quote similar books. They mimic your new mindset. They adopt your tone, your ambitions, your vibe. They think that by resembling you, they can stand beside you again. But resemblance is not reality. Just because they've learned your language doesn't mean they share your values. This is how the most cunning, worthless people re-enter, by pretending to be a better version of your past. It's strategic mimicry. Don't be flattered. Be alert. Because if they were truly evolving, they wouldn't need you to witness it. They'd be busy building, not performing. You're not cold. You're focused. People will call you ruthless. They'll say you're overprotective. They'll say you've changed. And you have. Because you finally learned the one truth no one teaches. The wrong people don't just drain you. They define you. Slowly, silently, from within. And by removing them, you aren't just clearing space. You are reclaiming your identity. This is not social cruelty. This is social strategy. Machiavelli would tell you, if you want to rise in power, clarity, and command, you must guard your circle like a fortress. Not all threats are external. Some live in the handshake, in the good intentions, in the unresolved connection. Cut without fear. Remain cold when they come back. Become the one who never looks back. The world is full of advice about how to connect, but almost no one teaches you how to disconnect with precision, permanence, and power, because removal feels cruel. It feels unnatural. It feels like a betrayal. But what if I told you that the greatest betrayal is keeping someone in your circle who no longer deserves it? Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He didn't just rise to power through strategy. He preserved power by removing those who weakened it. And now that you know who to remove, how to remove them, and how to defend against their return, there's only one piece left. You must hardwire this mindset into your system. So here are 7 final laws to make social pruning a permanent, effortless part of your power. Build slowly. Cut quickly. This is the opposite of how most people operate. They rush to trust, rush to bond, rush to let people in, then hesitate, stall, and suffer when it's time to cut. Machiavelli would never tolerate this. Let time test people, not charm. Let consistency build connection, not desperation. And when someone shows you their pattern of weakness, betrayal, or rot, cut immediately, without speeches, without delay. Slowness in cutting is how parasites become permanent. Do not hesitate. The longer you wait, the deeper they root. Never cut emotionally. Cutting isn't about punishment. It's not about drama. It's not about hurting them. It's about removing contamination. That means your tone must be neutral, your face still, your mind sharp. If they feel attacked, they'll defend. If they feel judged, they'll fight back. If they feel chaos, they'll try to manipulate. But if they feel cold absence, they'll realize you're not trying to win them over. You're simply done. That's what gives your silence psychological weight. Prune when you win. Here's a mistake few talk about. Most people wait for conflict to remove others, but Machiavelli would advise the opposite. Cut people when you are winning. Why? Because during victory, you see who truly claps for you. You observe who secretly resents your rise. You watch who tries to compete instead of support. And most importantly, you have the leverage. Don't wait for betrayal to act. Act before betrayal has the chance. Power isn't just about solving problems. It's about preventing them before they form. And the seeds of betrayal are most visible in times of abundance. Replace emotion with standard. Never ask yourself, do I feel like removing them? Ask instead, do they meet the standard required to stay in my orbit? Feelings lie, but standards, when set clearly, protect you from the fog of nostalgia, guilt, or pity. Create your code. Loyalty must be proven, not proclaimed. Respect must be mutual, not demanded. Energy must be net positive, not draining. Actions must match words, always. When someone violates even one rule consistently, the verdict is simple: they're out.